The Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council is now called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to tonight's meeting. It's customary for me to read an open podium invitation. Open podium is an opportunity for Eden Prairie residents to address the City Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government prior to each council meeting, and these council meetings typically occur the first and the third Tuesday of each month. Open podiums occur from 6:30 to 6:55 in the council chamber. If you wish to speak at open podium, please do contact the city manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, your phone number, and subject matter so we can be better prepared for you. Open podium is not recorded or televised. If you have questions about open podium, please do contact the city manager's office. Mr. Getchell, should I go right into the proclamation, or do you have something that you'd like to say first?
Mayor, no, you can move straight into that.
All right. During this section of the meeting, we have proclamations or presentations, but of course with MLK Junior Day, Martin Luther King, it's very typical and normal annually that we have read this proclamation around the time of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Proclamation, City of Eden Prairie, Hennepin County, Minnesota, whereas the City of Eden Prairie City Council and Human Rights and Diversity Commission sponsors the Black History Month Words in Action contest and the Human Rights Award program, recognizing those who work to create an inclusive community spirit through their actions, activities, and programs. And whereas the City of Eden Prairie recognizes that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream and dedicated his life to helping freedom exist for all people through his commitment to human rights and his nonviolent philosophy. And whereas the City of Eden Prairie reaffirms its commitment to fostering diversity in our community through the Eden Prairie Manifesto. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Eden Prairie hereby proclaims 2026 as a year to celebrate human rights and diversity and asks all residents to continue their commitment and concern for equal rights for all persons, to dedicate themselves to helping those who do not yet share in that freedom, and to join the City of Eden Prairie in recognizing and celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. Ronald A. Case, Mayor, on behalf of City Council members Kathy Nelson, Mark Freiberg, PG Narayan, and Lisa Toomey. All right. We have presentation this evening. Mr. Getchell, I think I'll turn it over to you to get people appropriately introduced.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, the majority of our meeting is, we have a short one tonight. The majority of our meeting is to a presentation tonight. We're going to get an overview from Hennepin County EMS, the services provided, a big part of our public safety here in Eden Prairie. First, we're going to get introduction from both of our chiefs. So here come our police chief and our fire chief to give us introduction to Hennepin County EMS.
And by the way, the city loves our chiefs. I mean that. Not only the council up here, but we get so much, so many positives on both of you, and you lead amazing departments. And we all know that culture is a result of good leadership. So thank you to both of you, police department and fire department. I think they're the best in the state. Do you all agree with that? Okay.
We have Chief Marty Shear here with us tonight from Hennepin EMS to give a little overview and an update with Hennepin EMS and their operations within our city. Before we turn it over to Chief Shear, Chief Sackett and I just want to give you a little update about how does EMS really work within the city of Eden Prairie. So, as you are aware, it is a team effort in the city of Eden Prairie, and that team includes our dispatch center, our police officers, our firefighters, and our paramedics that respond as part of Hennepin EMS. Within EMS delivery in the city, the dispatchers, our police officers, and our firefighters are all city resources. Hennepin EMS is not a city resource. It's a resource that is a private entity that provides EMS coverage within our city. EMS service areas are defined by primary service areas that are defined by law. Hennepin EMS has been a provider in the city of Eden Prairie for decades, and we are extremely fortunate that we have a great relationship with Hennepin EMS to be able to provide that service in our community. In a medical emergency, how does it work? So when somebody calls 911 for a medical emergency, they reach our dispatchers. Our dispatchers take that information. They're able to determine information about what may be happening in that call. They then start the appropriate resources, police, fire, and an ambulance. At the same time then, they transfer that call to Hennepin EMS. Hennepin EMS has their own dispatch center, and Chief Shear will talk a little bit more about that. But they provide our pre-arrival instruction, which means that while responders are still responding to a home, police and fire, and an ambulance, that they've started some initial triage or care with what might be happening in a home. And that's provided by the Hennepin dispatchers. They're able to give information, gather more medical information, and perhaps provide information about how to perform CPR while folks are still responding to the call. So what about 2025? Just to give you a little bit of a data with what this looks like. In 2025, there's on average about 10 medical calls in our community each day. For the fire department, we responded to 2,781 EMS calls last year in the city of Eden Prairie. It's about 68% of our call volume. Now, the police department responded to 3,608 calls. So you can see they did approximately 800 more calls for medical-related calls than the fire department did. We have great resources and try to provide great resources to the type of call. So law enforcement goes on some of our lower acuity calls that we don't automatically start all of our resources together. Now, those numbers that I reference are about medical-related calls. They don't include calls like crashes on our roadways or other incidents that may happen where EMS services may be a part of our community. So those types of calls, I'm going to list for you the types of calls in 2025 kind of by order with how many types of things we went to, just so you have an idea of what's the most things we might go to within our city, both police and fire. So a fall, difficulty breathing, a lift assist, which might mean that they're not hurt at all, but they need help getting back up, a cardiac event, one that's unresponsive, one that might have influenza-type illness, a stroke, a seizure, a diabetic, allergic reaction, overdose, and severe bleeding. Those are the types of calls that we would auto-start police, fire, and an ambulance to at the time of call. And those are the order in 2025 of the most frequent to the least frequent type of calls that we responded to. Now, police respond, as I shared, to other maybe more lower acuity calls by themselves. Things like a medical emergency that wouldn't be classified in one of those types of events. Perhaps they've gone to a medical alarm or a person in crisis. Now, the great thing about our city is if our law enforcement staff are all tied up and cannot respond to those type of medical events, we then send the fire department. And by having our own dispatch center, we can have those types of interactions already built into our computer system so it knows to be able to do that. Again, as I talked about, it really is resource driven. So we're making sure that police and fire are being used as most effectively as they can. Lastly, before I turn it over to Chief Shear, I want to talk just a little bit about EMS education, because it is a big part of how we continue to maintain and deliver our service. Hennepin EMS provides ongoing maintenance and ongoing skill development for both our police department and our fire department on a regular basis. Annually, we often meet quarterly. It might be biannually in some different cases, so that we can stay up on our skills to deliver high quality care to those that may have needs in our community. So, unless you have any specific questions for Chief Sackett or myself, I'm going to hand it over to Chief Shear, and he can give a little update on Hennepin EMS.
I have a question. So, around
Take it away.
Thank you. Around 3,000 plus medical calls, right? And if I remember right, there is around 44,000 voters in Eden Prairie. So it's close to like 8-9% of the people. Did I do that math right?
Yeah, I certainly don't know the exact voter number, but
I know that number, right?
Sure.
44,000. Yeah.
Some of those can be repeat calls.
No. What I was saying is adults. I'm just assuming we have around 65,000 total residents. Out of that, we have adults around 50,000 or 45,000 or so. And out of that, 3,000 plus people called in a year. That's large percentage, no?
As Chief Sackett said, Councilmember Ryan, I think it's,
Could be kid.
count the total,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
calls.
Yeah,
It-
could be
It's also
good.
important to remember that some of those calls may be coming from the same residents or the same people that we're going back there for. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't just be that they maybe, perhaps they called just once, but they could be repeat callers.
No, just when I do a quick number in my head, it seems very large percentage, right? Of that we're getting calls. I just make a statement. I don't know if that's true or not, but definitely that's the impression I have.
So my question,
Why?
no, I had a question
Go
prior
ahead.
to you.
Okay.
So my question was, when the triaging begins to occur, where it comes into our 911, we get our possible police officer first on the scene, and then our fire. And then in the meantime, the call gets transferred over to Hennepin EMS, and they begin to really dig in and triage it. Is that information goes to their ambulance before it gets there, but does it go back to our people that are right on the scene, because they might be there 10 or 12 minutes working with that person? And did the information that got picked up medically get transferred back to them?
Yeah, in most cases, it does get transferred back. And a really important piece to this, Mayor and Council, is that they don't wait till we get on scene to start that information. It's started at the same time that resources are started, that Hennepin EMS dispatcher is gathering that information and sharing. So it comes back oftentimes either via radio or to our dispatch center, who then relay it to us.
Great. Council, anything else? Okay.
Chief Shear.
Welcome, Chief Shear. Nice to see you again.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Yes, Marty Shear, Hennepin EMS. I've been in Hennepin EMS about 6 years now, and prior to that, I was a longtime Edina firefighter. I was chief in Edina Fire for about 15 years. And I'll try to work, oh, there we are, slides are up. And can you see the slides on your screen? Yes.
We can, yeah, only the first one, though.
I can advance it for you if it's not.
Doesn't seem to be advancing. There we go. Okay, so Hennepin EMS, as Chief Gerber mentioned, we're a subset of Hennepin County. We cover about 14 different cities in our service area, about a little over 1.5 million residents and 266 square miles. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Okay, thank you. So this is our leadership team. As I mentioned, I've been there about 6 years. Most of our leadership team has also been there less than 6 years. Fabulous team. They really do a great job running the organization. And then we also have our medical direction team. Dr. Simpson is our medical director. He's working tonight in the ED. All of our medical directors work in our emergency department at Hennepin Healthcare. And Dr. Jones is actually the medical director for the police and fire departments here in Eden Prairie. And then we also are pretty fortunate. We're one of the only EMS organizations around that have our own pharmacists, and Holly's our pharmacist. So all of our physicians are board certified in emergency medicine. You don't see that everywhere, so we're really lucky. I always claim we have the best emergency doctors in the country. They're very progressive, and they like to try new things and pilot new programs, and it's proved very successful for us. We also have 2 fellows that work with us, residents. They train with us for about a year, and they do a great job too. So they're out responding to calls as well as the medical directors, and it's really a pleasure to have them out working with them. So Eden Prairie, as the chief mentioned, we have a great working relationship with both the police and fire departments. We all co-respond. We arrived on scene about 5,268 times last year in 2025. We had an average response time of 8.51 minutes. And then we have code 2 and code 3 calls. So you're probably familiar, but I'll just review it. Code 3 is lights and siren, it's an emergent call. And code 2 calls are non-emergent. And people say, well, give me an example of a code 2 call. And I'll just list just a few of them. Bumps, boils, can't sleep, constipation, cutoff ring, earache, gout, hepatitis, hiccups, itching, nervous, objects stuck like in their ear or something, just similar things like that. So we do get a lot of calls like that. A lot of people say, I wouldn't call an ambulance for that, but we get a number of calls. As you saw, 528 calls that were code 2 calls in our city. And so those we respond without lights and siren, just drive routinely. And so a normal response to that might be 15, 20 minutes sometimes, but they're non-emergent calls.
What do you do in the case of hiccups?
Try to scare them. No, I'm just kidding.
Seriously.
How about any questions? So response time, call volume, that's a big thing to most cities. Does anybody have any questions, concerns about that? As the both chiefs mentioned, I've known both chiefs for a long time. You're right, they're fabulous chiefs. We have a fabulous working relationship. For example, if we go on like a cardiac arrest, we had a great save. We were here last council meeting, talking about the young man that was saved. And the firefighters will ride in the ambulance with us, work in the ambulance. We have a simulation ambulance that we bring out for training as well. That's exactly the same as a working ambulance. And we train the firefighters and police officers to work in there. So everyone knows if I reach back here and grab an IV bag, and all our ambulances are the same. And so we do a lot of training. We do active shooter training with their police department every year and things. So we're really happy to work with Eden Prairie. They're a fabulous group. The chiefs are both great. Whenever there's an issue, they call me right up, and I hope you do too. Consider Hennepin EMS like one of your departments, just like the police and fire department. Call me anytime.
So Chief, I've been to meetings with you, and as we all know, it at the end of the day, it's about response times, and that it's not as easy, even if one had, like Edina, or had our own ambulance service. You can't have 18 vehicles sitting there just waiting, and then the response times then you just send one off and it gets to the neighborhood in 2 minutes, right? You only have 3, 4, 5 ambulances floating around at any given time.
Usually about 25, yeah.
In the whole region, though.
Yeah,
but
in the whole
like
region,
In our
yes.
city,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
might
yeah,
have, so
yeah.
if there was a call, I mean, there's a best case and a worst case. If the ambulance was happened to be a block away, gosh, we're in there in
Right.
1 minute. But if there is no ambulance at that moment in Eden Prairie, I mean, worst case could be 15, 16, 17 minutes. So my question, and we know that with fire, police. I mean, I think people just need to understand that. But what's the coverage then? Because I know we have, again, amazing police and fire that are able, I guess I want to hear from you, like what are they able to do during those, in that worst case scenario, 15 minutes that takes a while for your ambulance to get there?
So what are the police and fire able to do?
How do we
Yeah.
how do we take care of that?
Yes,
Our
sure,
residents, how do
sure.
we take care of that
Yeah,
patient?
so your police and fire, most of them are trained either EMRs, which is emergency medical responder, or EMT level, and so they can do the basic first aid and a cardiac arrest. Actually, they can do everything. They have AEDs, and so they do quite a bit. Actually, we're in discussions about how we can maybe even advance their training a little bit further. I'd like to see that. In a perfect world, I'd like to see some paramedics on the fire department, and they could respond as well. And we'd train the paramedics. We have that going on in St. Anthony, and like for example, Bloomington Fire is doing that. And so that's another solution. But I think just advanced EMT is even better. But they are very well trained right now. But we could always advance that, and we would help with that, facilitate that, if that's something that you're interested in doing.
Well, I think we are. I mean, and again, response times can be chasing a target that's really,
Yes.
at the end of the day, there's always going to be that worst case. There just always is, right? But if we can get that average to a reasonable point, I think 8 minutes is reasonable because we can cover it with our police and fire. And again, that's an average.
Yeah, no, I think our response time actually for the city of Eden Prairie with the road system it has and that is quite good. It's I'll put it this way, it's better than Edina Fire has a response time. I know that because I work there, so.
We want to write that
But,
down.
there's, and I will say, response times are important, but actually outcomes to me are more important. And I'll show outcomes towards the end of my slide presentation, but outcomes are really, really important as well.
Sure.
But response times are important to everybody too.
Sure.
But,
Counsel?
yeah, other questions?
I have a question. So this number is actually worse than what Scott's number, 5,000 out of 70, the numbers ratio-wise. But again, looking at average, I'm not a big fan of average. It's great, if you are below average or at average, something happened to you.
Right,
What happened in that bell curve, the other side of the average?
sure.
What's that
So we
maximum,
right,
look like? That's also we need to look at. I'm not asking you,
no, I have that actually.
I'm not asking you hard questions, but I'm just thinking.
No, so we send to every quarter, we send to the chief our numbers, and we look at, here's what we look at. We look at, for code 3 calls, the emergent calls,
Yeah.
the percentage that were under 10 minutes and 59 seconds, that's the kind of our
Yeah.
goal to be under that. And then we look at the under 12 minutes and under 15 minutes. So Our averages for under 10 minutes is 75.28%.
Okay,
Under 12 minutes is 87.88%. And under the 15-minute mark is 95.99%, so 96%.
so the worst case, kind of 15 minutes.
15 minutes is
range,
yeah,
and
so there'll
our
be a
hope
few.
is that our fire department hold off.
Fire department, police department there.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
right.
do
Oh,
their
and then we also have mutual aid. We'll call Edina Fire or
Yeah.
Ridgeview Ambulance too sometimes to help us out. The mayor and I were at a meeting last week, I believe it was.
think
We
so.
talked about the system that we just got developed where we can see all the different ambulances in the area. And let's say Ridgeview has an ambulance that's returning from downtown, driving right through your city, and a call comes in, we can now notify them and see that and have them respond instead of us if they're closer. So we're trying to improve that as well. And then the mayor earlier asked about who sees the information from our dispatchers. We're working on a system that should also send that directly to the CAD in the vehicles so we can, all the responders can see that, not just the dispatch center.
So
And I
right now,
just-
it doesn't go to the CAD with.
Doesn't go, well, it goes to your dispatch and then your dispatch
yeah,
would put it in the
right,
CAD.
right.
But we could send it directly into the CAD
Right,
that way.
right.
I just want to also say thank you for your service. My wife had an incident, and you guys were there in minutes, way better than the 8 minutes, I think, if I remember.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
almost passed out. at
Thank
that
you,
time.
yeah. So we usually
So thank
station a
you.
vehicle here, and we
Appreciate it.
also have one right by Glen Lake Golf Course, is where our two bases that are closest here, yeah.
Right.
Thank you for all your service.
Thank you,
Council,
sir.
anything else?
Yeah. I just got a couple of other quick slides I'll
Yep,
go through if
yep,
you're ready.
please.
Any other questions, though, on response times?
Go ahead. No, you take your time.
Sure. As you know, we do the emergency medical service. We also have community paramedics that work in your city as well. So they're kind of the ones that do house calls. They're generally visiting people that are unable to get to the clinics on their own, so we take care of them. As Chief Gerber mentioned, we have our own dispatch. We also have a special operations team that a lot of that works with the police and fire departments, and then we do the training. As you know, I mentioned tiered response, where we have police, fire, hospital. We all work together. That's how we had this great save just 2 weeks ago, or we talked about it 2 weeks ago, but yeah. We have some advanced paramedics, and I'm going to go through this quickly. Here's our technical rescue medics that work with the fire departments. Here's us training at your active shooter training with your law enforcement team. We also have water rescue medics that are on Lake Minnetonka. We have incident dispatchers we can bring out to larger events. The community paramedics I mentioned. Mental health is a big issue with first responders now, so we have a peer support team. We also have a couple different vendors and our hospital psychologists that work with our team, and it's been pretty great. A lot of people said they didn't need this, and we made everyone go visit the psychologist. We called it a checkup from the neck up, and people didn't even want to go, but I made every single person go. I said, go talk about the weather. I don't care what you talk about. And about 5 or 6 people came back to me and said, thank you for sending me. Turns out I do have some problems, and I'm going to go take care of them, and this has been really good for me, and I didn't even know I had these problems. So
Nice.
it's been really cool to see. We also have a therapy dog. We just got the therapy dog this year. Rigsby's a huge fan. He's more popular than any of us. We have a really good patient survey. Here's kind of the results I want to talk about. So we do surveys to all the patients, and we have a 96.21% satisfaction survey, which is really, really good. It would be much better if the ride of our ambulance was better. That's our low score all the time. I don't know if it's the rough roads or the winter. And then also the value for the money. I think a lot of people are used to paying $20, $30 for an Uber, and then they get a bill from us, and it's quite a bit more, so the value that they receive. But other than that, we get excellent scores. I'm most proud of the scores that we get for our paramedics, that I trust the paramedics, they took care of me. Those are some of the best in the country. So out of these scores, we're, I think, number 5 in the country for scores, so we're doing really well. And here's the other data I want to show you on outcomes. So this is a cardiac arrest study that most people in the country look at, and a lot of EMS agencies use that as a benchmark because it kind of compares everyone equally. And these are people that go into cardiac arrest and that walk out of the hospital with no deficit. For example, the young man that was here last council meeting. So a 1% difference from the national average is a big deal. So on the upper numbers, the Unstein survival, that is without bystander CPR, we're at 40% save rate there. The US is at 33.4, and Minnesota's at 35%. And then with bystander CPR AED, it jumps up to 47% compared to the national average of 37%. Last year, we're actually at 60%, which is the highest in the country. So these are really good numbers. And the only area really that, well, we can improve everywhere, but the area we need to improve the most is bystander CPR. Minnesota has a very low rate of bystander CPR, and everyone thinks we do a great job and we'd be better, but we have a very, very low rate. It was really exciting actually to hear that you had a AED installed weeks before the gentleman had the cardiac arrest last week.
Do we have a lesser number of AEDs than
Yes.
the rest of the
Yeah,
nation?
yes, which is
So
strange
Eden
too.
Prairie could continue to lead the way in that.
Yeah.
And that's the Lions and the Lionesses.
So that's an area for improvement is the bystander CPR.
Nice. Good to know.
Yeah, and I think that kind of covers the rest. You're aware, I don't want to take many more time, but we do a lot of other things. Our staffing is really good. We had 150 applicants for 10 positions last time. We do a lot of technology. We're in your community a lot, doing a lot of different things. We do a lot of speaking outside the community. We had a recent study that the mayor was at, and we talked about that. Our biggest opportunity for improvement is our CAD-to-CAD integration, which I mentioned earlier, and different ways to transport people and working with your fire departments, synchronize our protocols.
CAD is computer-assisted data?
Yes, yeah. And I'll answer any questions. Another thing we've done is we've added whole blood onto our ambulances now. That's this year. So we're carrying whole blood, and so that's been a really huge improvement. I think we've done it like 27 times since October, which is a
A
really huge
quick
deal.
question. You mentioned the costs that people get shocked with sometimes when they, I'm guessing a $2,000 bill or something, but
Yeah.
what percentage of what you bring in and need to survive, I'm sure cities
Mm-hmm.
contribute, obviously, are user fees?
So our fees are just from transports. So
Right.
we get paid from transports, and actually we have such a,
you're
we have a
only from that.
high volume of transports. So we're self-sufficient with
Okay.
our transport volumes. Most EMS agencies aren't that way, but we are.
100% comes from.
Yeah, 100% comes from our transport volume, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Council, anything else? Well, since you do serve our residents, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and please,
We have
we're-
all of them, and
we work
do
for you.
partner closely with our
Sure.
police and fire, so you really are like a kind of a third leg of the stool. But Lisa, did you have a question? Oh, okay,
Thank you for having me, and I'd be glad to come back anytime you wish.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for what you do. Communicate that to all your staff, that we appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
All right, council, moving down the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I just want to add one really brief mayor report. I just want to talk about encouraging people to frequent our restaurants, and Asia Mall was the reason that initially that I was going to bring that up among our other amenities, facilities out there. But anything else to add to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda with the addition of the mayor's report.
Great.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I oppose. Anybody have a question about any of the edits, anything about, or edit, or want to edit or change anything within either of the minutes from the workshop or the meeting back on January 6th? Now, is there a motion to approve them
Move to
both?
approve the following city council minute. City council workshop held Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. City council meeting held Tuesday, January 6th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anything else to discuss? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, consent calendar, one of the shorter ones we have seen for a while. Any items A through F that you want to learn more about, question, pull from the consent calendar, vote on separately? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar A through F?
Move to approve items A through F on the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed. All right, moving on to payment of claims, all the expenses that the city has incurred since our last meeting. Any items on the multiple pages and pages of our expenses that you wish to learn more about or question? If not, is there a motion to approve the payment of claims?
Move to approve the payment of claim as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Freiberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Narayan,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Toomey,
Aye.
Mayor Case.
Aye. All right, I think it's just down to me briefly. Lisa Toomey and I were invited along with Congresswoman Kelly Morrison's staff. I thought she might be coming, but she did not. I think she was in Washington. But to visit at the time, a couple businesses in Eden Prairie, that's what we thought it was going to be, just to learn more about possible ICE impacts on those businesses. But we only got as far as Asia Mall. And we met with the owner, the manager, one of the store, restaurant people. There is nobody here, right? Because we had invited them to speak. But I thought I would still just briefly kind of communicate the message that their numbers are way, way down, not only at their restaurants, and they have had a loss of employees, both because ICE did come in or in their parking lot, and they did apprehend several of their restaurant employees. But there's also, and by the way, it's not, sometimes maybe based on the news, you might be thinking it's Latino, Somali, but there are Asian people that are being picked up as well. But I believe Asia Mall's employees that were apprehended were mostly Latino. But nonetheless, the bigger hit on Asia Mall was just people shopping and frequenting their restaurants. So I thought I would carry on the message to Eden Prairie people. If you are currently in a financial position that you continue to go out to eat, please frequent the restaurants in Eden Prairie that you think might be struggling or suffering because of the impact of loss of employees and or loss of people going to their restaurants. I was in a restaurant that is one of the most common, popular, packed restaurants in Eden Prairie. I was just there last Thursday and talked to the manager, and they have been hit really hard with a 20 to 30% loss in clientele, and also lost their cook who was apprehended. And there's a real impact, which is going to be a fairly major impact economically across the region, but we also believe across the state. Nonetheless, my message to Eden Prairie residents, frequent our restaurants so that we can keep them in business. Because when we come out of this, and we will, whenever, soon, I hope, we want our restaurants to be here so that we can continue to enjoy them. So that's my only message. Council, anything else you want to add about anything I just said or anything else? Mr. Getchell, anything else to come before our council this evening?
Mayor, just related to council schedule, talk about February a little bit.
Sure.
The typical February schedule for the council would be the first and third meeting in February. It's a little different this year for city council. The first Tuesday in February is a caucus evening. So if you are part of a political party throughout the state of Minnesota, the supplies state of Minnesota, that is a caucus night.
February 3rd, yeah.
February 3rd. And so city councils throughout the state cannot meet that night. So the city council will not meet that night. This whole schedule we set first of the year. And in lieu of that, we decided then not to meet on February 17th and to meet on February 10th. So we are not meeting on February 3rd, we're not meeting on February 17th, we're meeting on February 10th. Also, we have another meeting in February, but it will not be in the council chambers. Your annual meeting where you interview board and commission members is on February 24th. That is a council meeting, but it's not a televised business council meeting in the council chambers.
It is open to the public.
It is
but
absolutely
it's just
open to
not-
the public. It's noticed, and it's actually one of your longer council meetings because you spend the entire evening interviewing applicants for all of our city commissions. So, in summary, you are meeting on the second and fourth Tuesdays in February, February 10th and February 24th. The February 10th meeting will be the business meeting in here. And getting even to March, and we'll talk about that later, we have the two meetings currently scheduled in March, but we'll talk later about possibly canceling the second meeting in March because we may not have a quorum for the second meeting in March, but we'll talk about that at a later date.
What time is our 24th meeting start?
The 24th meeting, actually, I think it starts as early as 5 o'clock. And the interviews typically begin somewhere around 5:30, I believe. Sarah's nodding. I think there's like sandwiches before, but the first interviews are usually around 5:30.
Fine. It's a minor, yeah. There's a LRT Met Council Mayor meeting, but 3 o'clock, it's no problem.
Should that be
It's
okay?
virtual.
'Cause-
Yep, oh, I would change that, not this, so.
Okay.
Um,
Because I think, because it could be a little later if
No,
needed, but
it's good.
5:30?
Don't change a
Okay.
thing.
Okay. That's it.
Council, anything, Lisa? Oh,
No.
you keep tricking me.
I'm turning on
It's
my,
like, yeah, but it's like,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think that you want to speak.
no, I'm good.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening then?
Move to adjourn the city council meeting tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.